We will get started today with some props nearby, or a prop, a blanket, or a pillow, or a couple. We won't need those right away, but I will cue with them a little bit later on, a little bit further into the practice. We'll just begin lying down today. Start with the full body stretch. So actively reach your arms overhead, stretch your fingers back, point your toes, lengthen through your whole body. And then let your arms come down to your sides. And you can either keep your legs extended or bend your knees. And just find a few moments of stillness. Let your body relax. Relax through your face, and softening your forehead. Let go of tension in your jaw. Relax your neck and shoulders. And allow your chest to open just a little bit more as your shoulders melt deeper into the mat. Let your arms relax. Let your hands relax. There's nothing they need to do right now. You might have palms up. You might have palms down. I like palms up because it just encourages a little bit more of an opening the chest. Relax your glutes and let your hips sink deeper into the mat. Relax your legs and your feet. They don't need to support you right now. And then enjoy the gentle rise and fall of your belly as you breathe. Nothing to control, it just happens naturally. And take this opportunity to thank yourself for coming to your mat this morning. Maybe bringing a smile to your face as you move into these next few breaths. And what happens on your mat today is up to you. This might be your time to take it easy. This might be your time to work hard, maybe a combination. The whole time, pay attention to what you need. Empty your lungs. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Let it out through your mouth. And start to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Bring some movement to your hands and your feet, starting to wake up. And turn your head one direction, take a breath. Then come back to center and go the other direction and take a breath. And back to center. Reach your arms overhead once again. This time, stretch a little bit more through the left side of your body. Reach your left fingers up and back and maybe just a little bit over to the right. And then stretch a little bit more through your right side. And then both sides evenly. And lower your arms back down. And bend one knee, plant your foot on the mat, and then the other. Get ready for bridge. Stack your knees over your ankles, feet hip width distance apart, and press down through your feet and lift your hips up. It could be a really gentle bridge, just a little bit of a lift. Maybe you're ready for a higher lift. Notice the sensations that arise as you find this movement. Keep space through the back of your neck. Press your shoulders deeper into the mat. And then lower your hips back down. Bring your right knee in towards your chest, hands to your shin, and draw circles with your right toes, one direction and the other. Movement in your ankle. And release your right foot back down to the mat. Pull your left knee in, hands to your shin. Find some movement in your left ankle. Circles with your toes. You can always hold on to the back of your thigh too if that's a better fit for you. Lower your left foot back down to the mat. And we'll pull the right knee in once again. This time, extend your left leg. With your left leg resting on the mat, take a couple of breaths, pulling your right knee not only in, but over to the right a bit, more towards your armpit. And bring your knee back to center. And we'll move into our twist. Use your left hand, guide your right leg over to the left, stretch your right arm out to the right. Keep your right shoulder connected to the mat. If your right shoulder starts to pop up, then back off your twist a little bit. Press your shoulder down. We'll take a couple of nice deep breaths. And then back to center. And we'll open the right leg out to the right. You might let your foot stay floating, or you might bring the outer edge of your right foot down to the mat. Then back to center. Once you've connected the sole of your right foot to the mat, bend your left knee, plant your left foot on the mat, and we'll take another bridge. Press down through your feet, lift your hips up. And lower your hips back down. We'll pull the left knee in towards the chest, extend your right leg, let it rest on the mat. And we'll pull the left knee not only in, but over to the left. Again, a little closer to the armpit than the chest. And then back to center, we'll move into the twist. Use your right hand, guide your left leg over to the right. And as you stretch your left arm out to the left, melt your shoulder deeper into the mat. Relax into the twist. Think about the energy of the tailbone drawing towards the foot of the mat, just creating some space through your spine. And the twist will naturally deepen as you relax. Then back to center. And we'll open the left leg out to the left. Again, maybe your foot is floating or maybe the outer edge of your foot comes down to rest on the mat, whatever feels best. Return to center. Connect the sole of your left foot to the mat. Bend your right knee. Plant your right foot on the mat. One more bridge. Press down through your feet, your shoulders. Lift your hips up. And notice when your hips lift up, if the weight in your feet changes. If you notice that you're rolling to the outer edges of your feet, come back towards center. Press down evenly through the big toe side and the baby toe side of each foot. And lower your hips back down. We'll bring the soles of the feet together to touch, knees open out to the sides. Hands can come to the inner thighs, or you can place your hands on your belly, or maybe you slide your fists under your hips for some support. Return your knees to center. And then roll to your side. Pick whichever side is comfortable. Use your arm to support your head. And then press yourself up to a seated position with your legs extended out in front of you. You shift your hips from side to side, find center. And roll your shoulders up to your ears, draw them back, and lower them down. Bring your hands behind you. You can either interlace your fingers or just let your fingertips rest on the mat. And draw your chest forward. Keep your abdominal muscles engaged to help support, and lift your face up to the sky. Lower your chin down a bit. We'll bring the arms out in front. Palms face one another. Keep your abdominal muscles engaged. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, arms down to your sides. Then arms out in front. Inhale up. Exhale, arms down to your sides. One more time, arms out in front. Inhale up. Exhale, arms down. And now we'll add on. Send your arms out in front. We'll bend the elbows, point the fingertips up to the sky. Inhale, open your arms, and exhale, close. Inhale, open, and exhale, close. And you can add a little movement in the spine here. Think cow stretch as you open, lift your gaze, lift your chest, and then cat stretch as you close, curl in. Inhale, lift and open. Exhale, curl, pull your elbows down. A couple more. And then we'll find a gentle release and take a twist to the right. The left hand to the outside of your right leg, right hand behind you. Lift up through the crown of your head, root down through your tailbone. Relax your shoulders and breathe into your twist. Return to center and pause at center. Just notice the difference between the sides. And then take your twist to the left. Again, thinking about rooting through your tailbone and lifting through the crown of your head. We're creating that space again. And return to center. Bring the arms behind us once again. Let your fingertips rest on the mat and begin to hinge forward at your hips. Belly comes down first. If a rounded spine works better for you, you can certainly do that. I'm encouraging chest drawing forward, more of a flat back. You see what works for you. Come back up. We'll swing the legs around behind us and find our way into table. Stack your shoulders over your wrists, stack your hips over your knees, and take a couple of cow and cat stretches in this position. And then back to a neutral spine. Preparing for thread the needle. Reach your right arm out and up. Breath in, breath out. Bring your right arm back down. Slide the back of your right hand across the mat under your left arm. Lower yourself down. Find a place to rest. You may decide to creep your left arm forward. You might take a half bind with your left arm. You might decide to plant your left hand on top of your right. Bring your left hand back into position. Press yourself up. Inhale, right arm out and up. Half bind as you exhale. Then release your half bind. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, right hand down to the mat. Now we'll take that on the other side. Inhale, left arm out and up. Exhale, bring your arm down. Slide the back of your hand across the mat. Lower yourself all the way down. Decide what's comfortable for your right arm. Then bring your right hand back into position. Press down, lift yourself up, sweep your left arm out and up. Inhale, half bind as you exhale. Pause here. Release the half bind. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bring your hand down to the mat. Now, separate your knees just a little wider than hip width distance, big toes together to touch. Send your hips back towards your heels and then come back up. Send your hips back towards your heels and come back up. One more time like that. And when you come up, walk your hands forward, one hand length. And then start to send your hips back towards your heels. Keep your hands planted, a little deeper stretch in the back and the shoulders and the arms. Come back up. Sink your hips back. And come back up. One more time. Come back up. Once you come up, bring your knees in hip width distance apart. Find your kneeling plank. Straight line, top of the head down through your knees. Gaze just off the top of the mat. Now keep your elbows in close as you lower yourself all the way down to the belly. Elbows brush the rib cage. Once you come down to your belly, bend your right knee, pull your right heel in. Press your right hip bone down into the mat. And then release your right leg back down. Bend your left knee, pull your left heel in. Press your hip down. And release. And then lift to baby cobra. Just the chin and chest up off the mat. Hands stay light. Press down through the tops of the feet. Feel your kneecaps pop up off the mat. Inhale. Exhale, lower yourself down. And press up to kneeling plank. And come all the way back to child's pose. Sink your hips into your heels. Hands slide any amount to make that happen. Walk your hands forward and to the right to open through your left side. Press your hips back into the left. And walk your hands back to center and go the other direction. And walk your hands back to center. And we'll come back up to our kneeling plank. Again, straight line, top of the head, down through the knees. Curl your toes under and lift your knees off the mat. High plank pose. Gaze straight down, press the mat away with your hands. Keep your knees soft, maybe a little bend as you lift your hips to our first downward facing dog. Once you come up, press your right heel down towards the mat. Then lift your right heel and press your left heel down towards the mat. Take that a few more times. We'll meet in the stillness of our downward facing dog. Broaden through your shoulders, front and back line of the body. Then inhale, come forward to your high plank. Exhale, set your knees down on the mat, kneeling plank, lower all the way down to your belly. Keep your hands right where they are. Lift to baby cobra, inhale. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, press up to your kneeling plank. Exhale, back to child's pose. Inhale, back up to kneeling plank. And exhale, downward facing dog. Let's do that again. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, set your knees down, kneeling plank, lower all the way down. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, kneeling plank. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, kneeling plank. And exhale, downward facing dog. One more time, just like that. Move with your breath. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, knees come down, lower all the way down. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, kneeling plank. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, kneeling plank. And exhale, downward facing dog. This time in your downward facing dog, start to take baby steps. Walking your feet to your hands, bend your knees any amount. You come to a forward fold near the top of your mat. Keep your knees bent, let your belly rest on your thighs, and relax the back of your neck. Let your head hang heavy. Your arms might dangle, or you might choose a grip of some sort. If you've chosen a grip, like grasping opposite elbows, you may want to switch the grip, balance things out. And then we'll let the fingertips come down to rest on the mat and step your left foot way back to a low lunge. You might need to creep your right foot forward a little more. Find the alignment of right knee over your ankle and keep your hips fairly level rather than up or dropping down. Lengthen from the top of your head down through your left heel. You can come to your fists or your fingertips. And then inhale, straighten your right leg. And exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. One more. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. We'll stay here in the lunge. Lengthen top of the head down through your left heel. Pick up your right hand. Inhale, sweep your right arm out and up. Exhale, half bind. Stay here and breathe. Release the half bind. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, right hand down to the mat. And we'll step the right foot back to meet the left, downward facing dog. And we'll move a little deeper this time. Come forward to your high plank. Set your knees down on the mat. Kneeling plank, lower all the way down to your belly. Now lift your chin and chest, press down through your hands. Peel your belly and thighs up off the mat. Chest draws forward, shoulders away from your ears. Now you can either lower yourself down first to find child's pose or engage your glutes and your core to pull back, supporting your back as you come back to child's pose. Then all the way up to downward facing dog. Look to your hands, walk your feet to your hands, forward fold. And again, keep a bend in your knees. You can let your arms dangle or find a grip of some sort. Maybe do something different from what you did last time. Switching things up if you need to find balance. Then with fingertips down on the mat, step your right foot way back, low lunge. So we stay on the ball of the back foot. Just as before, check in with the alignment. Front knee over the ankle and lengthen from the top of your head down through your right heel. Engage your glutes, engage your abs. You're not letting the hips drop down. You're staying active and lifted, whether you choose to be on your palms, your fingertips, or your fists. Inhale, straighten your left leg, and exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. One more time. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Pause here. And we'll send the left fingers out and up. Inhale, exhale, half bind, and pause. Just breathe here. And release the half bind. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hand down to the mat. We'll step back to downward facing dog. And this time we'll move just a little bit deeper. Come forward to your high plank. Set your knees down, kneeling plank. Lower yourself all the way down. Lift to baby cobra, then press down through your hands. Peel your belly and thighs up off the mat. Now press down through the tops of your feet and lift your knees off the mat. Upward facing dog. Bring your knees back down. One more child's pose. Pull from your core back. And up to downward facing dog. This time in your downward facing dog, look to your hands, walk your feet to your hands, forward fold. Place your palms on your thighs when you get there and roll up to standing. At the top, inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, arms down, hands together behind your back. Interlace your fingers. Now keep a little bend in your knees, no locking out of the knees, and work your interlaced fingers down as you lift your chest. Keep your glutes engaged to help support your back. And release your fingers. And we'll send the arms out in front. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, arms down to your sides. Now reach out in front. Inhale up. Exhale, arms down. One more time. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, arms down. Now we add on. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, bend your elbows and bring your elbows down to shoulder height. Now we'll wrap the right arm under the left, eagle arms. I'm taking a partial wrap on this side. You could take the full wrap if that's available to you. And we'll sink the hips back and down. Keep more weight back in your heels. Rather than letting your knees go forward, we want the weight back. And instead of curling up, we'll keep the torso fairly lifted. Just continue working the hips back and down. Sinking the hips just a little lower. Find a little tuck of your tailbone if there's low back pressure. You might even lift your toes here. And straighten your legs, unravel your arms, send your arms forward and up. Inhale, and exhale, elbows down in front of you, and now left arm under the right. And once again, we'll sink the hips back. Create space between your shoulder blades and space between your ears and your shoulders. And straighten your legs, unravel your arms, send your arms forward and up. Inhale, exhale, arms down to your sides, hands together behind your back, opposite interlace of your fingers this time for your chest expansion. Keep your glutes engaged, abs engaged, your knees soft as you lift your chest and lift your gaze. And then release your hands. We'll inhale, sweep out and up. Exhale, hands together down through heart center, forward fold. Then come up part way, halfway lift, hands to your shins or thighs, lengthen through your spine. And fold forward, plant your hands, step back to your high plank pose. We're going to find a flow. You can take one that we've already taken, or maybe this time you shift forward to the tips of your toes. Stay on your toes as you lower to low plank. And then find upward facing dog to downward facing dog. So you find the flow that works best for you each time. Look to your hands, step feet to hands. Inhale, sweep out and up. Exhale, sit low in your chair, hands at heart center. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, cactus arms, elbows down, shoulder height, open up. Inhale, back up. Exhale, sit low in your chair. Inhale up. Exhale, cactus. One more time like that. Inhale up. Exhale, chair. Inhale up. Exhale, cactus. This time, inhale up. Exhale, down through center, forward fold. Halfway lift. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold, plant, step back, and find your flow to downward facing dog, or just step right back to downward facing dog. When you reach your downward facing dog, inhale your right leg up and back. Exhale, bring your knee towards your nose to step through for a low lunge. We've been here before, knee over your ankle. This time we spin the back heel down and rise to warrior two. When you come to your warrior, think about stacking your shoulders right over your hips and root down evenly through both feet, the entire sole of each foot. Sometimes the tendency is to roll to the inner arch of the back foot, so you might need to bring a little more attention to the outer edge. And with your arms stretched straight out to your sides from your shoulders, send energy out through your fingertips, but relax your shoulders. And your head can either be right at center, chin at center, or gaze beyond your right fingers. Keep the right inner thigh spiraling up and out. The opening comes from the hip, but you see what happens in the knee. The knee tracks more towards the third toe than falling inward. And then we'll find a slow lift to star. So heels in, toes out, arms up to the sky, palms open, fingers spread wide. Relax your shoulder blades down your back. As you root down through your feet, engage your inner thighs, feel them squeeze towards one another, and let that bring you a feeling of lift. Now hands come together at heart center, bend your knees, sink your hips for goddess. Might feel good to move around a little bit. It's first time through. Then we'll lift back up to star. And warrior two, front of the mat. Let your legs stay right where they are. Lower your left arm down, flip your right palm up to the sky, and lift your right fingers up to the sky, reverse warrior. Find the stretch from your right hip all the way out through the tips of your fingers. Your gaze might be up, down to the side or down. See what's comfortable for your neck. Keep lunging into your right knee. Inhale. Exhale, low lunge, hands to the mat, spin your back heel up. Step back to downward facing dog, and you can either stay there or find a flow. Back to downward facing dog. And again, you find the flow that works for you. And from your downward facing dog, inhale your left leg up and back. Exhale, knee to nose to step through for a low lunge. You find your alignment, knee stacked over the ankle, and spin your back heel down. Now your front heel is about in line with your back arch. Getting ready for warrior two, you find your rise. Check in with your foundation, check in with the alignment, shoulders over the hips. Energy through your arms, reaching out through your fingers, but relax your shoulders away from your ears. Sometimes the shoulders creep up and let them to relax. Bring attention to your back leg and energize through the inner thigh. by pressing a little bit more through the outer edge of your foot. And then again, spiral the front thigh up and out. We'll lift up to star, heels in, toes out. Keep your glutes engaged, keep your abs engaged. Wake up the muscles in your back. Maybe bring your arms back just an inch. And then hands come together at heart center. Bend your knees, sink your hips down. Again, maybe a little movement. Keep your abs engaged, keep your glutes engaged. And we'll come back up to star. And then warrior two, front of the mat. Keep a nice lunge in your left knee as you lower your right arm down. Lift your left fingers up, reverse warrior. Relax both shoulders. Even though your left arm is lifted, your shoulder can find some softness. Inhale. Exhale, low lunge, hands to the mat. Step back to downward facing dog and either stay there or find a flow. If you find a flow, maybe you come to your high plank, lower to low plank, back up to high, and then low plank to upward facing dog. Just adding that extra low plank. If you'd like to bump it up a little bit, it's an option. Downward facing dog is where we meet. Then look to your hands. Step feet to hands. Inhale, sweep up to the sky. Exhale, sit low in your chair, hands at heart center. Inhale up. Exhale, cactus, keep your glutes engaged. Inhale up. Exhale, chair. Inhale up. Exhale, cactus. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale, chair. Inhale up. And exhale, cactus. This time, inhale up and exhale down through heart center, forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Plant your hands, step back and find a flow or go right back to downward facing dog. We're going to take the same thing that we took before, just a little bit faster. So inhale, right leg high. Exhale, knee to nose, step through for a low lunge. Spin your back heel down, rise to warrior two. Then lift to star, heels in, toes out. Come down to goddess. Memorial Day parade come through. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, low lunge. Step back, find a flow to downward facing dog. Then inhale, left leg high. Exhale, knee to nose, step through, low lunge, spin your back heel down. Rise to warrior two. Inhale, star. Exhale, goddess. Inhale, star. Exhale, warrior two, front of the mat. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, low lunge. Step back, find your flow to downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, look to your hands, step feet to hands. Inhale, sweep up to the sky. Exhale, chair, sit low. Inhale, back up. Exhale, cactus, keep your glutes engaged. Inhale up. Exhale, chair. Inhale up. Exhale, cactus. One more time, inhale up. Exhale, chair. Inhale up. Exhale, cactus. This time, inhale up and exhale down through center, forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold and flow to downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, knee to nose, step through, low lunge, spin your back heel down. Inhale to rise and exhale, settle into the warrior. Inhale, star. Exhale, goddess. Inhale, star. Exhale, warrior two. Reverse warrior, inhale, lift. Exhale, low lunge. Step back, find your flow to downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, step through, low lunge. Spin your back heel down. Inhale, rise. Exhale, feel your warrior. Inhale, star. Exhale, goddess. Inhale, star. Exhale, warrior two, front of the mat. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, low lunge. Step back, find your flow. We meet in downward facing dog. Now look to your hands, step your feet to your hands and roll up to standing slowly. Palms can be on the thighs for support. And when you reach the top, inhale, reach your arms out and up. As you exhale, right arm under the left. Find your eagle arms that we found earlier, partial wrap or full wrap. And then sink your hips back and down. Bring all the weight into your left foot. And lift your right knee up towards your elbows and then cross your right leg over your left. Slide your leg down so that your thighs are connected tightly. You might kickstand your right toes or you might pull them back and in, working towards the full wrap. Pay attention to the alignment of your knees. If you find that they're tracking over to the left, pull your right hip back so your knees are more at the midline and shift more weight back into your left heel. Few more breaths, perhaps sinking your hips back and down a little more. Then keep your arms just the way they are. Unravel your legs. We're moving to eagle armed airplane. Drive your right heel back, straight, strong right leg as you hinge forward. Keep your hips level as your right leg lifts up behind, rather than opening your right hip to the side. Then lower your right foot back down to meet your left. Come to an upright position. Unravel your arms. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hands together down through heart center, forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold and flow to downward facing dog, or step right back to downward facing dog. You could always come back to downward facing dog and then just inhale, high plank, exhale, down dog a few times. From our downward facing dog, we step forward, forward fold, roll up to standing. And then inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, left arm under the right, eagle arms, full wrap or partial wrap. Sink your hips back and down. And now all the weight stays in the right foot as you lift your left knee up. The higher you lift, the tighter you can wrap when you bring your leg down. And you might, again, kickstand your toes. If they're floating, work them back and in so that you can feel the tightening of the wrap. Gives you more stability too, if your foot is floating, to keep your foot active. Shift the weight back into your right heel. Create space between your shoulder blades, little tuck of your tailbone. Keep breathing, that's the most important part. And we'll keep the arms right where they are as we start to unravel the legs, getting ready for eagle armed airplane. So drive your left heel back and then lift your left leg up as you hinge forward. Straight line, top of the head, down through your left heel. Level out your hips. Press the mat away with your right foot. Create space in your right hip. Then lower your left foot back down to meet your right. Return to an upright position. Unravel your arms. Inhale out and up. Exhale down through center, forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold and flow to downward facing dog. And from your downward facing dog, look to your hands. Step your feet to your hands. Crouch and curl if that feels okay with you. If with your knees, lift your heels, bend your knees. We're just going to come down to have a seat on the mat. So you can just come down to have a seat whenever you'd like. This crouch and curl might feel good on the way. We'll come down to have a seat. Knees bent, feet planted. Send your arms out in front. We'll lean back just a bit. Really feel your core engage. And then take a few pulses. Up an inch, back an inch, up an inch, back an inch. More than a few, I guess. Relax your face, relax your shoulders. Keep your core active. Your feet can either stay planted or you can flex your feet and just have your heels down on the mat. 4, 3, 2, 1, and then roll all the way down to your back. Let your arms come down to rest at your sides. Pull your heels in closer to your hips. Plant your feet hip width distance apart. Get ready for bridge. Root down through your feet, through your shoulders. Lift your hips up. And lower your hips back down. And we'll find our supine pigeon. Lift your right foot off the mat. Cross your right leg over your left ankle or outer edge of your right foot to your left thigh. This might be where you stay today. If you'd like to move deeper, lift your left foot off the mat, pressing your low back down into the mat. Your arms might stay relaxed, or you could use one or both hands to assist in pulling your left leg in closer. Option to send your left foot up to the sky, straightening your left leg. Perhaps you grasp your left big toe with your peace fingers. Option to move a little deeper if you've chosen to straighten your leg by lifting your head and shoulders off the mat, little tuck of your chin, slide your arms through the triangle you've created, palms come together to touch, then bend your elbows, scoop up your right leg, and we'll float the straight left leg down to hover above the mat. We come back up. If you've lowered, we'll just make our way out the way we went in, whichever version you've chosen, until we're back to both feet planted on the mat. Then take the same thing on the other side. Cross your left leg over your right, ankle or outer edge of your foot to your thigh. Either stay right here or engage your abdominal muscles to support the lift of your right foot off the mat. You might take the same version that you took on the other side, but maybe this side needs something just a little different. Try it out, see how it goes. And then just as before, we make our way out the way we went in. Until we meet up with knees bent, feet planted. Press down through your feet, your shoulders, lift your hips up. Lower your hips back down. Hug one knee in towards your chest and then the other. Circle your knees around a couple times. Lower your feet down to the mat, roll to your side, press yourself up to a seated position. And if you're going to be using props for your savasana, we're going to get the props set up now before we take our twist. I'm going to place the block at the back end of the mat. and then put the large bolster on the block to form a ramp. And I'm going to have the small bolster down closer to the foot of the mat. If you have a blanket, you can roll up the blanket and then just run that behind you so that you have support for your spine and your head when we come down for a nice heart opening Shavasana. Well, we'll meet up with our left leg extended, cross your right leg, plant the sole of your right foot outside your left thigh. Bring your right hand down just behind you and find your nice seated twist to the right. Relax your shoulders. Your left arm might hug your right leg in, or you might decide to bring your right arm in between your right leg and your torso to give you some leverage to deepen the twist. And then a gentle release, back to center, pause at center, then uncross your leg and get ready to do that on the other side. Cross your left leg over your right, plant the sole of your right foot, or excuse me, left foot outside your right thigh, and find your twist to the left. And the left hand presses down to find that feeling of lift as you twist. Then back to center, uncross your leg, shift the hips from side to side, find a forward fold before we lie back. Open up through the whole back line of your body. Then back to an upright position, bend your knees, plant your feet on the mat, and roll yourself down to the support that you've chosen. If you've chosen support, I'm bringing the small bolster down so that it's going to support my legs with knees bent. If you are using the support beneath you, allow your chest to open, allow your shoulder blades to tuck slightly. Let your arms rest at your sides. If you're using something like a small bolster or a blanket, you may even feel your shoulder blades wrap around the support. And if this position is not comfortable for you, then please adjust however you need to so that you are comfortable, because we want you to be completely relaxed in this final posture. This is your time to just be. Taking some nice deep breaths. You notice which areas readily release and which areas take a little bit more time to release. And we allow that time. Have patience with the process of letting go. Your mind begins to wander. Encourage it to come back to the breath. Just breathing in and breathing out. You may choose to use your breath to deepen the relaxation, Sometimes I like to envision the inhalations coming to the crown of my head and each exhalation washing all the way down through the torso, through the arms, out the fingers, through the legs, out the toes, relaxing everything a little deeper. Inhaling to return to the crown of the head and exhaling to wash through the whole body. Sometimes that can be helpful for 3 or 4 breath cycles to allow the body to soften and bring the mind back to the present moment. And then I encourage you to bring a smile to your face. Once again, thanking yourself for making it to your mat today. Empty your lungs. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then begin your slow, gentle reawakening, unless you'd prefer to remain longer in stillness. And if so, feel free, remain as long as you'd like. If you're choosing to reawaken, really let it be slow and gentle. You're finding small movements, adding on. Eventually bending your knees and rolling to your side, coming off of the support if you've chosen to use support behind you, beneath you. And then press yourself up to a comfortable seat. Eyes remain closed. Bring a smile to your face. Let it come from your heart and let it warm your soul. And I encourage you as you make your way through your day to take time to do what makes your soul happy. And this is one of those things for me. So thank you for sharing this time. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Namaste.